looks longer than the old one. Okay, good morning. As a preliminary matter, this is Chris Young. I'm the chair of the HDC's SAC. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, please respond in the affirmative. Kevin Kuster. Kevin, can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, thanks. Mark Catone.
Aye.
And Paul Wolf.
Here.
And for staff, we have Nikki Sheriff.
Here.
Okay, great. Good morning. This open meeting of the HDC's Sign Advisory Committee is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation. Unless such participation is required by law, this meeting will feature public comment. For the meeting, the HDC's SAC is convening via video conference on the Zoom app and will be posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I'll introduce each agenda and speaker. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you to state your name and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their name and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call. Okay, so let's call the meeting to order at 9:04 a.m. on April 15th, 2025. As stated, we will be recording this meeting. Do we have a motion to modify our agenda per the request of staff that we see applicant number 5, 21 Amelia Drive, moved to the first position? So can we get a motion to?
So moved.
Okay, thanks.
Second.
Thanks. So we're voting to approve our agenda with number 5 at the top of the new business. Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
Okay, I am as well. For public comment, is anybody on this call that would like to make a comment that's not related to an agenda item? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to commissioner comments. Are there any commissioner comments that would like to be shared? Okay, I can say that I do have a conversation going with Stephen Welch regarding Article 71 for town meeting, which is the traffic LED signage. And he's asked that I be present at the April 28th meeting of the HDC just to talk about a possible floor amendment and get their opinion. So if any of you have any desire to be at the April 20th meeting to talk about that, or want to talk, send your comments to me, please do so. But CC Nikki if you do, so that we can just keep those comments on record. And basically the thought is to just see what, if any, floor amendment might be proposed for that LED traffic signage.
Sorry, Chris, what's the date of that meeting?
That's April 28th, Tuesday, I believe. I'm hoping I got the date right.
29th.
Okay, let's make it the 29th. It's the yeah, the next HDC meeting after tonight. They're not meeting next week for school break.
Got it.
So yeah, you're right. 14 days from today would be the 29th. Thanks.
Chris,
Yes, Paul.
have we seen the proposed plan of
these speed lights? I mean, how many and where they're gonna go?
There is no plan. They're portable, so it's just
Okay. well,
authorizing the town to acquire
I'd
them
like
and
to know
use
how
them.
how many we have. We got 2 or we got 22?
But that's actually the point of what we want to talk about, because the
Okay.
article doesn't have any restriction. It's just authorizing the town to acquire them and use them as they see fit, with really very little limitation. So,
Guardrails is the latest word.
okay, that's what we're looking for.
Have they asked us for our opinion on whether we favor it or not, or?
That is sort of where we're at. We're just trying to, it didn't really pop up on the HDC's radar until recently. So we're going to go and just discuss it with them in their open meeting and see if there's a consensus. I don't think that they've formed one themselves. So they're looking for our input at that meeting. So,
Well, I, for one, think it's a very trashy, disruptive idea for the visual impact of the island.
I'll second that.
Would love to have you join us on the 29th and then May 3rd for town meeting. Okay. So we'll move on to the approval of our minutes. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes that Nikki sent?
Move approval.
Thanks.
Second.
Thanks, Mark. You in favor?
Aye.
By the way,
Kevin?
those are very well done minutes. Thank you, Nikki. Yes, I'm in favor.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to the first item of new business, which is 21 Amelia Drive. And
So she doesn't speak much English, so I may have to just pitch in a little bit, but
okay. Great. You want to just start by pitching in or give her the floor?
yeah. So this is a wall sign for 21 Amelia. We did approve one, I think, like her last 2 meetings for the JC nail designer. It is a mixed use building, so she's the other tenant in the building. And let's just move on. So here's a photo of the one that we approved with the border around it. And then hers, she's proposing to have hers either below that, if you're so inclined, or if you prefer it somewhere over here. But she's just showing you which one, and then she'll go with whatever the board, sees fit for that location.
Okay. Great. Let's go through the board. We'll do Kevin, Paul, and Mark. So Kevin.
Given where this is located and it seems to fit well with the other business and position, I have no concerns about this.
Okay, and you're referring to the one on the right.
The 2 signs together, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Paul?
I would agree with what Kevin just said. I think that's fine. Theoretically, I believe. Well, let me ask a question. What's the one on the left?
That's the option she's presenting if we didn't want to put it on the right.
Oh, I see. So it's either or. I get it. It's just a building that ought to have a master sign plan. I just throw it out because Nikki said it was a multiple use building.
Let's see.
Or is it not critical where it is?
I think there's just 2 tenants.
2?
Yeah, it's just 2 right now that I know of. And I did do a drive-by. It's just 2. So probably in the future. It's a fairly new building. I think it was built probably last year or the year before.
Okay, well, I have no problems.
Okay, Mark?
No concerns. I would motion to approve for the right-hand location as submitted beneath the previously approved sign.
Second.
Okay. All right. Paul, you're in favor?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
You, Kevin?
Aye.
Great. All right, thank you. That takes care of item 5. So we'll jump back up to what on our agenda is listed item 1, Marine Home Center or Marine Lumber for Yale Appliance, and sign here is on the call.
Yes,
I'm
good
gonna
morning.
I'm going to abstain.
Good morning. Okay, thank you, Paul. So we saw
Sorry,
this
one
before.
sec, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, for the record, not abstain. So Paul Wolf will be recusing, just for the record.
Thank you very much for accusing.
That's
Um, Okay, thanks. Do you want to tell us what have you done with your sign?
We applied for a sign last time and you wanted to resize it to more of a, that was what was previous, right? The one that was just there. And that's the one they want, that you suggested they do more of a quarter board style, which they're fine.
Mhm.
They just want to get it done.
Okay,
Those colors that Patriot blue and white, and then 48 wide by 6 tall, right above, right where that is. Yep.
okay, great.
And
Well,
that's, they're fine with the revision. They don't, they're not going to make waves.
all right, well, thank you. Mark and then Kevin.
No concerns. Appreciate the changes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Kevin?
I have no concerns.
Okay, me as well. I think it's a great looking sign. Thanks for working with us on that.
I make
do we
a
have-
motion for approval as submitted.
We'll give Mark the motion. Kevin, you want a second? All right, thanks. Mark, you're in favor?
Aye.
Kevin, you're in
Aye.
favor? I am as
Aye.
well. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye.
Right. All right. So now we're over at the Smart Stop self-storage. Do we have anybody from Emeritus on the call? No. Okay. We had seen this sign previously.
Yes,
Nikki, do you know what
He's there, Dimitri. Dimitri?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Dimitri
Dimitri.
House, Emeritus. Speaking, thank you.
Dimitri, tell us what you've changed with the application.
Sure. So about a week ago, Matt McEachran presented to you, and there were some comments, and we tried to address those comments. The first being sign location. We have 2 signs, and it was agreed that the street sign.
Sorry,
Can you hear-
hello, excuse me, Mr. Chair, through you, I can't hear him.
Mm,
Okay,
I can't hear.
Dimitri, can you get a better connection, Dimitri? Maybe
Yes.
take it.
let me
Are
try.
you on speakerphone?
No,
Okay.
I'm not. Let me try to go upstairs here. We had a outage in my building today. I'm doing this remotely. Can you still hear me at all?
That's much better.
Is this
much
getting better? Okay, I've
Yeah, thank you.
elevated myself. I apologize. So just to re-say what I initially said was last week, Matt McEachran presented to you folks this application. There were about 4 comments that we addressed. The first being the sign location. So there were 2 sign locations, one off the street view and one off the long western view. And we relocated the sign in the western view to above the gable entry. The other sign on the street, which is the north that you're looking at, that location didn't change. There was some approval for that and some other discussions. We left it in that location. That's the maximum sign size allowed by the advisory board under the regulations. We squared off the edge per comment, and we added serif to that particular font. And essentially, those were the changes that came up, or requested changes that we addressed. There's two sign locations, and one is smaller than the other due to the restriction of the pediment at the entry.
Okay, thanks, Dimitri. It is a little hard to hear you. I'm just going to summarize. Did you get everything, Nikki? Were you able to hear it? So essentially, they've responded to the comments, moving the west elevation sign over the door into that portico, added serifs to both signs, and squared off the corners per a comment that was made the north elevation sign remains the same size and location as before. My only question, Dimitri, is that it looks like, and maybe this is just a scaling issue on the computer, that the west elevation sign is really tight, touching the rake boards of that portico. Looks a little bit, squeezed in there. Is that accurate, or is that just the way that the PDF looks?
Yes, can you hear me, Chris?
Yes. Yeah.
Chairman Chris. Everything is to scale, so there's larger views of these particular signs. They're not the same size due to the restriction, and so we just tried to maximize the signage to work with that restriction. The building's built, obviously, so we're trying to work within the restriction. That was it. So there's a large version after these elevations that show the
Okay.
I can't hear it.
So, all right, he's saying essentially what we see is what's being applied for and it's scaled properly. So I just would point that out to everybody to pay attention to that west elevation. Why don't we start with Paul? We'll go Paul, Mark, and Kevin. And we can review both signs sort of together as we discuss it.
Okay, I don't have any problem so long as the west elevation sign is not either overlapping or I guess I can't say touching, but the trims. Chris's concern is also mine. So long as it fits within as presented, I don't have any problem with it.
Okay, Mark?
Yeah, I would agree. I would just clarify comments on the west elevation sign that not only should it fit within, but I'd be suggesting it be reduced by a couple inches in both directions, that it's not actually touching the trim, that it's got a little breathing room around it as it is attached to that shingle field. Thanks.
That's a great motion.
Thanks. Thanks, Kevin. Or thanks, Mark. And Kevin, do you have any other comments?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think to be clear, we can say you cannot touch visually, even if there's an overhang there. So Dimitri, if you would bring that down in size, can you agree to reduce the width of that sign so that it has a little more breathing room around the rake boards? And would you submit a revised elevation for the file if that motion carries?
That's all acceptable on our end.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mark, was that a motion that you
Yes,
officially want to
make that
make?
my motion.
Okay.
Well, let's, can
Second.
you say
So,
it just
Want me to
for,
restate it?
yeah,
yeah. Well, and we
Yeah,
have
I
two
would motion
signs.
to,
Sorry, Mark. Let's just do west
That's good.
elevation first. Thanks.
yeah, I'd make a motion to approve as submitted, provided that the sign is reduced by a couple of inches in both directions to allow for more room around the sign as it's attached to the shingle field.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. You in favor?
Aye.
And Paul
Aye.
and Mark.
Aye.
All right. Thanks. Now could we have a motion for the north elevation?
Motion
I would
for
make-
approval.
Second.
All right. Kevin, Paul, Mark, are you in favor?
Aye.
Paul
Aye.
and Kevin.
Aye.
All right. I am as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So moving on, we have 4 India Street. Is anybody on the call to represent this application? Colleen, I think I saw yours.
Yes. Hi, this is Jeffrey Silva and Colleen Wirtz.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
Would you like to introduce us to this application?
Yeah, this is our first application from the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we are downtown, as you know, on 4 India Street, and there's already a bracket from the existing store, which we will be using. And our application, I know it doesn't have a rendering at this point, but we're here before the board to get some feedback and see what our next steps are.
Okay. So if I'm seeing the application correctly, the photograph of the existing sign. That's like the Atlantic Nantucket sign where it's on the floor. That's what you want to hang on the existing bracket that formerly had the
The Green Market was there previously,
Yeah.
and the kitchen store prior to that, as you guys remember, the
Okay.
complete kitchen. And Atlantic Nantucket was around the corner at 16 Federal for the last decade, in the old Looms location. So yeah, we're here. We went ahead and got this thing worked up for ourselves, and we're hoping you like it.
Okay. Let me go, Mark, and then Kevin and Paul for discussion.
Can you just clarify if the size is
It's 30
appropriate?
by 22. I believe that is going to work. Let's see here. Yeah, that is perfectly fine for a 2-story building. 4.5 square feet, 5 square feet is allowed.
I have no concerns
I-
with the sign.
Okay.
I assume we'll get a formal application, but at this point, I think it's very appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my
Uh,
question. Is
Mark?
there an application here?
I do see an application in the
Like,
packet.
are we making this more complicated than it needs to be? If we're comfortable with what's being proposed, can this not be
Yeah.
the application unless Nikki says otherwise?
Nikki,
What is
what's
it
the
made of, I
status
guess,
this?
then?
It's wood, gentlemen. It's a nice wood sign that we had crafted.
Okay.
Okay. Nikki, is this in for formal approval if it goes to the board tonight?
Can't hear you.
There it is.
Sorry, what was that,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
They were saying that this was sort of an initial discussion, but I see the application. Could this go through the board tonight? It's got everything it needs?
Yes,
Okay.
this would go through the board tonight. That's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, this could be motioned and approved or recommended for approval tonight.
Yeah, I have no concern.
Okay, Paul?
I,
You have no concerns?
oh, I'm sorry. No concern.
Okay, so would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a
So
motion
moved.
to approval as submitted.
Second.
All right, thank you, Paul.
Aye.
Now you can, aye. Okay, Mark,
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I am as well. All right. Thank you guys for attending, and tonight's meeting, this will go up with a recommendation for approval with the full board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and fellow committee members. We appreciate your time.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. Yeah. Okay, let's move over to 16.5 Federal Street. We have a summer pop-up sign.
Okay, one
Uh,
second, Mr. Chair. The applicant just called me saying they didn't receive my email.
Okay.
But I did send it. I'm just resending it to her so she can chime in.
All right, why don't we skip for a moment? We'll go to 19 Amelia Drive, talk about safe place, allow her to check in. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, so 19 Amelia Drive. Anybody on the call for this?
Good morning, it's Jessie Brescher. I'm
Hi,
the
Jesse.
I'm the VP of A Safe Place. So I guess I'm not technically an agent, just here for A Safe Place.
Okay,
So
what are you
we've
trying to do?
so we recently purchased the building that was Joe Manning's physical therapy building on Amelia Drive, and we're moving our office over there. And so there's 2 proposed signs, one for the front of the building and one for the back.
Okay, so we have at the front of the building, is that the door with the 2 side lights? And
Yes.
this- Okay,
Let's see. Yeah, that's the
there we go. That's
yeah,
that
that's the
one.
front. Yep.
Okay, and then going around the back. What is on the back? It's a different. So that's the first sign up on our agenda. Let's look at that one first.
Okay. Yeah, that's
but
the
just
one
for-
at the front of the building.
Just for everybody's context, if we looked at the back of the building, there is a small quarter board above the back door. Just does not look like there's any combination issues between the two. Thanks, Nikki. There you go. So we'll talk about both of them sort of together and motion on them separately.
Okay.
Let's go Kevin, Paul, and then Mark.
When I look at that, I'm not quite sure what the material is. Is it wood? I don't know what SF wood is. I
That's a
think
good
I think
question.
if it's a wood sign, it's appropriate. If it's a plastic or a fabricated, it's not.
So I'll find out from the sign maker exactly what the material is, and I can email back.
Okay.
SF wood.
That's
I
my
think
only comment.
Okay.
Thanks, Kevin.
So as long as it's real wood. Okay.
Paul?
I would agree with Kevin, but my other comment is I don't know if there's a border on it. I can't tell from this picture.
It says beveled in the application, but not indicating a paint of any kind.
Yeah, the beveling probably ought to be painted.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have any problems with it.
All right,
Questions?
Mark?
I would support Paul's comments and motion for approval, provided that the sign is made of wood.
With a painted border?
Yeah, with a painted border, fine.
Okay, so we'll motion on this first sign, which is the front door sign, approvable, made of wood with a painted border. Do we have a second on that?
Second,
That would be a
Thank
painted
you.
beveled border, correct?
Correct.
Can I assume that
Yes.
the paint color is black for the beveled border?
That would be
it's
fine.
fine.
That's
Okay.
great.
Just
Thank
want
you
to
for
make sure we're on the same
clarifying.
page. Yeah. Okay.
So we had a
Yeah.
motion by Mark, we had a second by Kevin, I believe.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin
Aye.
and Mark?
Aye.
I am as well. Let's move around to the back door real quick. Any additional comments that somebody would like to make or make a motion?
I would make a motion to approve with a black painted border and that the material is wood as well.
Second,
Excellent. Kevin, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul,
aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I am as well. All right. I think that the SF might mean square foot. It's not like 1 square
Ah.
foot, but I'm guessing. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Terrific.
Jesse.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon or a good day, I guess. We're not an afternoon yet.
You too.
Take care.
All right. Is the applicant for 16.5 Federal on the line?
Yes, she's here, Mariah.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, this is Mariah. Sorry about that.
That's all right, Mariah. Tell us about the sign you're hoping to utilize.
Yeah, so we're a retailer in Boston, and we're doing a pop-up event at the Federal Suite at the Faraway Hotel. So the application, we kind of based it on previous signs. The Faraway had sent us some previous signs, just sizes and for the application. So it's a temporary sign. It's wooden. We were hoping to place it in a planter, and it would be, I believe it's the 22nd of July to, is it the 27th?
That's what the letter states. Yes.
Sorry,
It's okay.
yeah, so that is pretty much everything.
Okay. We'll go Mark and then Paul and then Kevin.
This is the one you're going to start me on. I guess I have a question for our board. Have we, or maybe Nikki, what have we approved previously? Do we have any of that information? Just
I
the
can pull
precedent?
it up right now. Hold
Okay.
on.
Thank you.
While she's doing that, I will say the application shows just the one sign, but the graphic in the planter also shows the open sign, which I would say needs to not be on the application. That's not an approvable, or the guidelines
Okay,
don't
that's
allow
fine.
for that. But let's move on to other freestanding signs are very restricted. So we just want to make sure we're following sort of previous precedent here.
Okay.
Chris, I have a question. Is this sign installed over that entire period of time, or is it put out when the shop is open?
So if we don't have the open, we would probably take it in and put it out sort of when during the hours.
Yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise, somebody's going to steal it.
Oh, yeah.
My
It's just
screen.
what we,
Okay.
So it was the Jenny Bird pop-up mark.
okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Yep. And you can see the motion was signage to be modified and placed in the planter and in the language consistent with the previous approval for the same location.
Okay. Great. If we can go back to the applicant. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. I guess I'm fine with this, with the open sign being removed from the application as discussed, and you know, it's temporary, so what's up, looks like it's up for about a week. So
Yeah.
yeah, 30 by 15.
Would you like me to resubmit the application without that open?
I think we can strike it from this.
Okay.
You know, Nikki may have you just edit your application, but I don't think we have to re-review. Nikki, sorry, scale of the previous approval as compared to this 30 by 15. Is that easy enough to check? Oh, identical. Okay. Yeah, no other comments. Thank you.
Great,
Right,
thank you.
thanks. Paul?
What is the name of the business or the outlet?
So it's on the top of it. We're branding it as like the summer house because but it's M Flynn and we're doing it with Marla Aaron. So those are the two brands.
Is Summer House the name of the business?
No, we're branding it because we have a Boston retail location. We're kind of branding it as the summer house. So that was the intent.
All right, there's certain things I don't care for. And one is confusion over M. Flynn, Mariah, Aaron, and Summer House. What's the business and why would I go in there?
So, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's all right.
Yeah, the business is, so we are a retail store. The business is M. Flynn. Marla Aaron is we're a jewelry store. Marla Aaron is one of our jewelry brands that the designer is coming out with us. We've just branded because she's New York based and I'm Boston based. We're branding it as just sort of the summer house. That was the intention. That was just sort of the intention.
I'm concerned that it certainly is not an Nantucket type of sign. It's got three names on it, and it's confusing. It's not historic. I'm not in favor of it.
Would
Okay,
you?
thanks. Let me actually go through the board members and then we'll cycle back.
Okay.
Kevin?
Given the fact that it's a temporary sign and has been in this location previously, I think we can approve this. However, I'm not a big fan of, freestanding signs and such, but as a temporary, I think it's okay.
Okay. So would the applicant like to address Paul's concern about, and his point is where, say, Wine Festival, if it were sponsored by Bank of America, just to, arbitrarily pick some
God, I
names
hope
out of a
not.
hat, they wouldn't be allowed to have Bank of America on a Wine Festival sign, for example. So I think the concern is just mixing too many brands, as one sponsoring the other. Do you have any response to that, just in general?
No, and we're flexible. We're willing to work with whatever you feel is best. I think the idea is that our brands locally and Marla Aaron's are very well known. So I think that would be a draw. Like, I think the hope was that would be a draw into the space for someone who might not be aware of the event. But I'm willing to make any adjustments kind of based on what you think is best.
Okay. Well, does anybody on the board want to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve as submitted with the removal of the open placard. I actually think it's a slight improvement on what we had seen the season prior. So I like Kevin, I'm okay with this on a temporary basis. I don't completely disagree with Paul's comments, and I think if this was a longer term signage of some kind, we'd have a larger discussion. But given it's a series of days that this will be in place, I'm okay. And make a motion. That would be my motion.
I have maybe a friendly addition to your motion, and that is that I think we should memorialize that this is a temporary sign location and sets no precedent for any future freestanding sign.
That's worth noting in the file. I think that's been understood, but not a bad idea to have that noted in the minutes. So
was that
with
a part
that,
of
I'll
the
give it a
motion?
second.
Nikki, I think if let's keep that as part of the minutes.
Okay.
If we can. Is that Kevin? I think that.
Yep, that's fine.
Probably, yeah. Because we're approving a temporary sign, so it's by definition being approved, not as a permanent installation. So there's a motion to approve removing the open sign. Paul, are you in favor?
No.
Okay, Mark.
Aye.
Assuming Kevin.
Aye.
And Paul, I'm sorry, I'm in favor as well. So I will.
Don't apologize.
Yeah. We can't always be unanimous. All right.
Would it be okay if we've closed that application review, but Chris, could I maybe just make a side comment, because this will come up again. When Peter Beaton was there, which was a long-term sign, wasn't it like a black top hat with her sign in that, and it was in a planter as well? Is that correct? Or
yes.
In the corner?
Yeah,
I just think nothing we have to belabor now, but there could be a situation where that becomes a longer term sign. Not this sign, but another tenant per se. And I guess I'm just keeping in mind that we did accommodate that in the past, and maybe there's an argument that it wasn't maintained and sort of lost its status as a freestanding element, maybe, but it is a unique little spot because it's tucked back, and I think we've made provisions to accommodate that signage. That said, I don't know if something could be accommodated on that arbor, which would provide, some attachment in our armature. But that's why I was a little leery on precluding anything in terms of like a long term in the future, because I think we have had some signage there for longer term in the past, and it's something we probably need to
whether it was right. Might have to look and see if that was approved. I know we had a lot of discussion about that location, but let's we'll cross that bridge when and if we have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have one more sign application today for a 10 Straight Wharf.
So through you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Applicant is not here. Staff just tried to call him, left him a message for Structures Unlimited. I was hoping he would be here because this is one of the properties that with the violation of the other multiple signs. So I was just hoping he would be here. That way we could just reiterate, because I did not get a response from them last year regarding the multiple signs on the door. So just a thought.
All right, thanks for bringing that up. I think we can review this sign. We've had discussions about this location extensively in the past, so why don't we just hear the members' thoughts on this? Paul, you want to start and go Mark and then Kevin?
Okay, what is this what we're applying for, this Jack and Charlie sign?
It's a projecting sign, if you want to call it that, on the pole armature that is next to the Macy warehouse building there. So
I
think it's more of a
recall we had
freestanding
a
sign.
conversation whether the pole belonged to the Macy warehouse or Jack and Charlie's.
Yeah, it might be worth pulling out, Nikki, just if we don't act on this today, it might be worth pulling out the old minutes. There's a lot of discussion about this being a freestanding signpost where, which has not been in use for years, and who deserves to use it. Yes, Mark.
For Paul, I had the same question, and I did go to the GIS maps. It does appear, and I think the plan that they submitted as part of this application does show the post on this property, which is a distinct property, I believe, from the Macy warehouse. If I'm not mistaken, it just sits on the outer edge corner. And this sign had been previously, many years back, used as the little gallery, which did occupy the building that Jack and Charlie's is in now. So I think that the armature was used for this edifice. That being said, it has not been in use for as long as I can remember. To be honest, it's been many years since I've seen that in use. If I honestly can't remember when it was used last. So I just add that to sort of address Paul's question in terms of who that belongs to.
Can we look
All
at
right,
the details of the sign then? Maybe on the application.
So it's a 2 foot by 4'6" sign. So that's 9 square feet. Any approvable sign would need to be 5 square feet. Arguably, if that's a 1-story building, that's a 2-story building, 5 square feet for a 2-story building. If we're looking at it as a projecting sign, if we're looking at it as a freestanding sign, I think the guidelines we're reading a different part of the guidelines where they're not allowed.
Okay. Back to the picture of the sign, please. All right, so it's got a border of gold. It's got pink ice cream, gold cups, black serif letters. Double-sided. And Chris, you said it's too big?
It depends on what we're calling this. This is a freestanding armature as far as I see, and I think we should go back. I'm trying to recall if it was Town Pool or who the applicant was, but we had several meetings discussing this armature, and a determination was made then that I think is worth revisiting out of fairness to that previous applicant and preserving the.
If I remember right,
guidelines.
Chris, I think the previous applicant was for the gallery that did go into the Macy warehouse.
Okay, that could be. So I guess the first question is this a freestanding sign or is this a projecting sign?
The freestanding sign, but it's a outlier. I mean, I don't think you can call it projecting.
No.
What's it projected from? Post.
Right. So now we're into the freestanding sign guidelines, which if it hasn't been maintained then and used, which it clearly hasn't
Right.
for years.
Yep.
What are we, the guidelines
Well,
don't
I
allow
mean,
us to recommend approval.
I'm happy to put it out
Oh,
there. I
There's
don't
the
think it's
applicant now.
approvable.
One
I
second.
don't think it's approvable because of what you just said, Chris. And I think that this business has been overly flaunting the number of signs on it. And I'm really hesitant to approve anything until that gets resolved. It's been a lot of work for the staff and we've gotten no response. So I have a big problem with this application. Thank you.
For the
Okay.
record, the applicant just joined us, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks. Why don't we just conclude the board member comments and then we'll let them speak. Does anybody else have a comment that they want to add? Mark?
Yeah, I would agree that we have had extensive discussion about this freestanding armature has not been in use as per the guidelines require to grandfather its continued use. And in fact, if you go to Google Earth and you do Street View, the armature actually is down. It was removed at some point and has gone back up. During the renovations of the Macy warehouse, it was removed. I don't know for how long, but it was down, which I think at that point, as soon as the armature goes away, they've lost the ability to use it. That combined with the lack of actually having an approved sign on it. So it hasn't been in use for many years. I think then to just add again, because we've had concerns with additional unapproved signage for this business, I think all that combined, this is not an application that we can approve. Thank you.
Okay, but just to be clear, I don't think we should judge applications based on potential or existing violations. Let's judge we'll judge this on its merit of being a freestanding sign. I think we can certainly ask them to address it, but rather than being punitive, I guess, I just want to make sure we're not making any motions that are suggesting that. But this is a freestanding sign by definition, and by definition isn't approvable. So the applicant's on the line. Do they want to respond?
So it's under my impression that this is a pre-existing post that has been there for years. And I think that the construction project next door removed the sign because of the scaffolding and obviously put it back up. So I think from the standpoint of it being there, it's been there for a fairly significant period of time prior to the construction or the renovation project. Do I see other signs of similar structure? I haven't seen that, but I can do my due diligence to pull that information in and represent it.
Okay, so if just to kind of identify how the sign book reads and what we need to follow, a freestanding sign is a sign which is attached to or part of a completely self-supporting structure other than a building, fence, or rock. They are no longer approvable unless they're grandfathered, and a grandfathered sign is any sign or advertising device which may be non-conforming, erected before the effective date, and which has been maintained and unaltered. So this has not been this signpost has not been used as a signpost for many, many years, as far as any of us are aware. So that would be sort of so
Sure.
freestanding signposts do lose their grandfathered status when they stop being used as a active signpost. Just to,
Chair, if I may.
yes,
Sorry,
Mark.
one more point. If you go back to the Google Street Views from 2016 and 2008 and compare it to the images that are provided in the application today, the sign has been modified. The bracket arms don't match at all. It's been altered. I think that alone might make this no longer permissible. So we're not looking at the same armature that was there in 2016 nor in 2008, according to the Street Views. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mark. So I think this is unfortunately, and if we go back, I believe we'll probably see the same comments in previous applications for this concept that it's a new freestanding sign essentially. Kevin?
I was just going to add, Chris, I don't think it's unfortunate. I think it's very fortunate because it's showing, it's demonstrating that our guidelines need to be upheld and are working. So the fact that, you know, somebody should just remove this so it doesn't come up over and over again because it's way past its grandfathering stage. And I think, you know, Broad Street's better because of it. So. But I would like to hear, I would still, once we get done or where we end with this, I'd like to hear how we're going to address the other violations.
Yeah. All right.
Because that may very well put this whole discussion mute because there's 2 signs allowed and I've counted at least a half a dozen or more. So that's an issue.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any other comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So from the perspective of a suitable sign post, is there a design that can be recommended for this location, or are we talking these independent types of sign posts are not allowed in this jurisdiction, in this area at all?
Yeah, freestanding signs are not allowed. New freestanding signs are not allowed island wide, and that's not just in the downtown core. So a second sign that is applied to the building that is in an allowable combination according to the sign book, meaning a projecting sign along with a wall sign attached to your building or this building, not say the Macy warehouse, would be a potential second sign. Each business is allowed 2 signs. As Kevin pointed out, we've been trying to deal with the fact that there are quite a few signs on the front of this building that list various products available. So that's a violation discussion. But
you might be able to put a fence sign. I think I saw a fence in the front.
Yeah, read the sign book. If you go to the town's website, you can find the sign book, and it's great reading. There's a lot of different combinations and options that you can discover there.
All right, got it.
All right. So I think we've concluded.
Is there a withdrawal of the application, Chair?
Or do we want to make a motion based on our?
I think the motion is going to be a denial.
I think we should make a motion for the record on this.
Yeah, I'd make a motion of the denial of the application submitted.
Okay, Mark, do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks for that, Kevin. Paul, are you in
Yep.
favor?
Aye.
Nikki?
So it's a motion to deny the application, and then the reason would be because it's a freestanding, because I'll have to give the reason tonight at the meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Reason being that
Mark.
it's a freestanding sign which is not permitted, and the armature has not been maintained for the time period which is required by the guidelines.
All right, thanks for clarifying, Mark. Kevin, are you seconding that motion?
Yes.
Thanks. Paul, are you in
Aye.
favor? And Kevin?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
I am as well. If I could invite the applicant to stay on the line for a moment, because the next item on our agenda is enforcement, and we would love to discuss the signs that have been previously noted as needing to be addressed. Can you discuss that at all? Are you willing to discuss the signage on the front of the doors that, and are you aware that there's an issue, I guess?
No, I didn't. I was not aware that there was an issue,
Okay.
so I might not be prepared to speak correctly to these yet.
That's fine. That's fine. We can ask staff to just send you an updated notice on that. So,
Okay.
thank you. Great. So, Nikki, do you want to give us an update on enforcement?
Yes. Well, Bert, did anyone get a chance? Paul, well, Ben isn't here, but Paul, did you get a chance to go by the Cape Cod 5 signs?
I did, and I doubt that there would.
Okay.
I did as well.
The ones on Pleasant Street, I can't reach them, so, but they're clearly modernistic style signs with parallel grains going in them, and I don't think it's real wood.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I'll note that.
I too went, you can actually touch the sign that's left of the entry on the 0 Main Street location. And you can observe that it actually appears to be some sort of high density foam or something of that nature. It is not a wood product because there are some imperfections in the sign that start to reveal that. So Paul's correct. It's a faux material that don't meet
Yeah.
the guidelines in spite of our approvals for such. So
Right. So it would appear that they put the HDU material, which is what they initially proposed. Okay.
yes, Nikki, that's correct.
On all their signs.
Yes.
That's an expensive lesson.
And then the Lex RX sign, I pulled the file last night and they were approved in 2021 for wood material. So not the material they have there now. So I'll add that to the spreadsheet and get a notice out.
Thank you.
Nikki, I have a question.
Yes.
Did you already go to the gas stations on Sparks Avenue?
Yes, I did those last year. Was that the one with the beach sign and the neon?
Yes. And
Yeah,
the
I
open
did that
sign.
last year. They removed it. Did
It's
they put
back.
it back up?
Yeah, I sent something to Mark just, to Chris just Friday or Saturday. So, and I went by yesterday and they were gone. So I thought maybe you had been out working this weekend. I don't know.
Oh no, I haven't. Yeah, I got the
Okay.
emails from Chris, but I haven't looked into any of them
All right.
yet.
Well, then forget what I said. I was gonna
Okay.
compliment you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I have. I'll start working on these. Patrick, I will email you the notice that I had sent last year.
Okay.
You could probably look into that. That's all I have. Is there anything else, Chris?
No, thank you. And so it's working well. If you email anything that wants to be shared with Nikki, please email to me and I'll forward along to Nikki and Leslie. And thank you. I think we did a good job today. Any other questions, comments, concerns, or final motions?
Motion to adjourn.
Kevin, you got the motion. Paul, you got the second. Mark, you're in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Yeah.
And Paul?
Hi.
Thank you. I am too. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
All right, bye everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, Nick.